shortly. Angela Constance.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. The starting point when considering the extension of civil partnerships to include mixed-sex couples is that the status quo is indeed incompatible with the European Convention of Human Rights. And the UK Supreme Court ruling on the 27th of June 2018, whilst applying to England and Wales, was nonetheless a clarion call that our current situation is discriminatory and time-limited. And as Ruth Maguire, the committee convener, and others have commented, given that Scotland is the only country in the world where same-sex couples have a choice of civil partnership or marriage, yet mixed-sex couples only have the option of marriage if they don't want to cohabitate. So it is only right that we address and progress this matter today. Other progressive European countries and indeed the rest of the UK have all taken this step forward, so we now need to catch up with them. Yes, this is indeed about equality of choice and opportunity, and it is also about securing the same legal rights, a levelling up, as some people have reflected. And there is little legal difference between marriage and civil partnership, although some pension providers will deliver less survivor benefits to a civil partner than a spouse, which is frankly outrageous. And I'm glad that the Cabinet Secretary will issue guidance around some of the difficulties with respect to international recognition, as this may be important to some individuals. The biggest anomaly is between the legal rights of cohabitees and married couples. In terms of death or separation, cohabitees rely on the Family Law Scotland Act 2006, whereas for married people, the protections around pension, succession, alimony and financial provision are much clearer and therefore much stronger. And some people might say wrongly that if you want to maximise legal protection for when a relationship ends due to divorce or death, people should get married. But this misses two very important points. The first is a very simple point. Why should there be a different position for any couple, whether they are mixed or same-sex? The second point is perhaps harder to understand if you come from a position where you believe in marriage as an institution, which many of us do, and that the only impediment to marriage is meeting the right person. But you have to understand and indeed respect that for some people there are real ideological and very legitimate personal objections to the concept of marriage, but nonetheless they form long-term, committed and loving relationships that should not be viewed as second-rate. And these couples deserve access to the law and to be able to access the same legal rights to protect and plan for their own future. And the Equal Civil Partnership campaign spoke eloquently about the symbolic, the cultural and the emotional reasons why some people object to marriage, but nonetheless they want a legally recognised relationship. For some women, marriage is indeed a patriarchal institution, and it is hard to deny what some people describe as the baggage of history, of culture and expectation, given that the civil and legal premise of women being the property of their husband is sadly not confined to ancient history. And Joan McAlpine tapped into that feeling that opening up civil partnerships to mixed-sex couples in many ways is addressing some unfinished business, something that I've heard Alex Cole-Hamilton reflect upon too. So with the introduction of same-sex marriages, many countries have either abolished civil partnerships or retained them as a legacy union, withdrawing them as a future option. But on balance, having the option of either marriage or civil partnership for both same-sex and mixed couples, I firmly believe is the right approach. And 2/3 of those questioned in the British Attitude Survey think so too. And as we heard from Fulton McGregor, there is wide stakeholder support for this bill. And those of us who serve on the Equalities and Human Rights Committee have discovered that there are some complexities to unravel and address, and other members have touched upon them today, including the Cabinet Secretary. In particular, the notion of converting marriages into civil partnerships is an area that the committee have sought to explore further with the government based on the evidence that we heard. And the written response from the Cabinet Secretary walks us through some of the complexities, which in essence are how do you not disrupt the legal rights when people change a marriage into a civil partnership. But nonetheless, there are other countries in the world, New Zealand and Austria, who have introduced the ability to transform a marriage into a civil partnership. So perhaps there is some learning there. But nonetheless, I'm sure we all very much welcome the Cabinet Secretary's commitment to explore this further and more in depth with the committee. Presiding Officer, this is a small but purposeful bill, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to support it today. Thank you.